Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to 22 Panels and the Pulp Blotter Book Club. I am joined by playwright and actor Mark Pracht and actor Sean Harklerode. How's it going, guys?
Awesome.
Great.
Awesome.
I
And
I feel pretty good.
yeah, that's good. That's good. And this month, we're Mark picked. So I'm going to let you introduce Mark. What did we read?
Um, this is we read the Jimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray, Jonah Hex, the first what 12 issues,
I
I
think I
think.
made it through 15.
Yeah, I
Because I
I
saw that the
intended
origins were starting. The origin was the next three, and I'm like, oh, I gotta blitz through
yeah,
that before.
Oh, I didn't
this
get that far.
I mean,
Hmm.
and the series started off with Luke Ross on the artwork, and but eventually it became sort of a
Who's who?
yeah, it was a real
Rotating cast.
rotating cast of really great artists. We were just talking before we got on the air that I one of my favorite pieces. I have a page of Darwin Cook original art that is page one of Jonah Hex number 50. Um, I I won't even like
Which I'm
this
still
ease.
35 pages away from, or 35 issues away from. Get there.
I mean, look, this is very high on my favorite uh ongoing series of the 2000s,
Yeah,
um, or of the
I
21st century.
I enjoyed it more than I was expecting to.
I think that this series is magnificently dark, and Sean and I were talking the other night. I hadn't really reread it since they were originally coming out. I mean, I have the whole run of this book, um, and I was kind of taken aback at how much it reminded me of like those old EC Comics horror books. I mean, it's not, I wouldn't call it a horror book, but it's definitely got that
It's got just a tinge of it.
a tinge of it.
I mean,
But
some of
I
the
mean,
EC Comics horror books were less horror books than like gruesome thrillers.
sure. And
Right.
that's I would say that's what this is. This is
Yeah.
gruesome, and it's definitely gruesome.
Yeah.
I I I, I rereading these issues, I actually had intended to just keep going because I was loving it so much. It just brought me right back to the original read of these. I just think Palmiotti and Gray, they get Jonah Hex in a way that I think a lot of people a lot of people who write Jonah Hex, I think that they need to put something more on it. And I don't think you need to. I think that he functions really well. I mean, I think about that damn movie and the other times when they're like, "Oh, he should have some sort of supernatural power or something like that." And it's like, "No, no, no."
Well, if you want to talk about horror, I mean that goes back to I was going to say my introduction to the character really was the Joe Lansdale, Tim Truman, uh,
Yeah.
series in the 90s, which
Yeah.
were great. Uh, I thought. Well, the first two are great. Uh, but
No. I mean, I just think it really I don't I was trying to remember why I picked this book up initially when it first came out, and uh I couldn't really remember, but there was something about it that really excited me. And the truth of the matter may be that it might have been that Luke Ross straight up draws Jonah Hex as Clint Eastwood.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Which
And
sometimes that bothers me, like particularly sometimes when people are so dependent on photo reference,
mhm,
like they're in the early beginnings of the Marvel Star Wars, uh,
yeah.
it kind of bothers me sometimes because like, oh, I know that photo, right?
Yeah.
But this, it's not all the time. but
Yeah.
sometimes it's like, damn, that's Clint Eastwood right there.
That's Clint Eastwood. Yeah. Well, and plus you have that great, the
The
great
scar.
scar thing.
Right.
It just
Right.
it offsets it just enough because really the I mean, it is okay. Look, I'm a huge Clint Eastwood Western fan. My favorite Western of all time is Outlaw Josie Wales, and
Oh.
um, and I think that there was just something that clicked with me. I was like, oh yeah, that's like if somebody could have made a Jonah Hex movie in like the early to mid 70s or even later 70s, it it's perfect. And I think that I think that Palmiotti and Gray just sort of write it like a spaghetti Western, really. And that's what it just pops to me. Like I,
Dark
I could,
morality tales.
yeah, yeah.
So I really want you guys to talk a little bit more about what you like about this. And again, I want to emphasize that I liked it way more than I expected to. And I think I like it on a level with you guys, but particularly as you bring up the outlaw Josie Wales, you hit on exactly what I was afraid of with this book and what I was afraid I was going to not like about this book. That I think they kind of threaded a needle on. So we're gonna get like
What are you talking about? The fact that he wears a Confederate uniform?
um partially,
I mean,
partially.
I think
Did we
that
establish if this happens before or after he's in the future? Is this is this
uh
after he comes back
I think
from
I
the
think
22nd century? Or
I would hazard to guess that yeah. You son of a bitch. Let's all just forget that happened. I think that's where this takes place. I am I do think it's really cool that this series does stick with the Lansdale Dzunga uh dark end of Josie. Or not Josie, Jonah.
yeah,
Um uh because that when you go back and you read that story from like the 70s when they or early 80s or whenever it was where they delved into that he ended up, you know,
as a
stuffed and
yeah,
it's like creepy as shit. I love it.
right. Which, in Lansdale's, you know, he winds up with the, reanimated corpse of Wild Bill, uh
Hmm.
Hickok.
Well, I mean,
And
okay, and I
that's
think
how the future run ends. He
right,
finds the body. And he's like, "Oh, I guess I make it back at some point."
right. Yeah, I think that I mean, I think to what I mean, if I don't look, the I have always loved the idea of people who have demons and carry the weight of things on them. Uh like this is far less explicit than Josie Wales, and let me be very clear. I do not uh I do not um suggest anybody go read uh the original novel that Josie Wales is based on. I think Eastwood's film is a very different animal with a very different point of view, and the original author of that book was a lunatic, so we'll not talk about that.
Uh, uh, Also, George Wallace's speechwriter.
Sure. But like the thing about that is that you can look at that movie and explicitly
My least favorite George Wallace.
Is which is the good George Wallace?
Comedian George Wallace.
Oh, I
George
didn't know there was
Wallace.
a comedian George Wallace.
Oh, he's great. I'll tell you a
Okay.
story sometime.
It's like my, it's like my favorite Joe Walsh.
Right.
Anyway, um, but because I think that that movie explicitly positions um, Josie as uh, like I don't think the politics of the situation matter to him at all. It's the fact that they came in and they burned his farm
Well,
and
that's
Yeah.
murdered his family. And
there's a
that,
scene in Ken Burns' Civil War where Shelby Foote is
Mhm.
relaying, uh, a Union soldier asks this Confederate at Andersonville or somewhere, like, why are you don't own you don't have any of this. Why are you fighting? And the guy says, because you're here. And I mean that
well,
you can apply that to Ukraine. You can apply that anywhere.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Men,
But I mean, like, I also think that that film very explicitly shows a very cruel event done to a man who was trying to live peacefully in a quiet life. And like, I fucking like that. I'm sorry. Like, we're talking about Josie Wales now instead of this book, but I
No,
mean, it's
no.
like,
I think it's a good launching point because it
it,
was. I mean, I recently watched that for my family movie club, and like I was appalled by so much of it that I couldn't. I felt like
violence, or the plot.
no, I felt like it was an absolute Confederate whitewash, and then uh, tried to make the plight of the South on par with the plight of the Native American, and it's like no, two very, very different things.
well, I mean,
Um,
I think that what it is, I think that the
and when I mean, I
there,
felt all of that, and then I found out, oh, it was written by George Wallace's speechwriter, who also wrote the
sure.
screenplay. I mean,
No, he
it's
did
not
not.
like,
No, he did
or
not.
wait,
He did not write the screenplay
okay, keep going.
because it's the screenplay was written by Kaufman, if I'm remembering
Charlie
correctly.
Kaufman.
No, not Charlie
Philip
Kaufman.
Kaufman
Philip
was involved in
Kaufman.
it. Yeah. Okay.
So, like,
Oh,
because
Philip
there
Kaufman
Wait.
is a
wrote
famous story where Eastwood met with that guy and he was like, okay, that dude's an insane, you know.
Okay.
Like, look, the fact of the matter is that the Civil War in this country was a, a, a a conflict that pitted people against each other in ways that we had never seen before and hope to God we'll never see
Never
again.
see again.
But the fact of the matter is that there were atrocities committed, that there were things on both sides, and I'm not justifying anything to do with the Confederacy, but there was a lot of
Right.
people who fought in that war for various reasons. And that movie positions Josie as one thing. He is like the Lord
Oh, see,
giveth
I
and the Lord taketh away.
right. I
That
didn't
is,
I
and the
didn't
thing
have a
is,
problem with
the
the portrayal of Josie. It was the
I'm just here as
setting
a
that I
Southerner
would get
listening
to.
to Northerners debate the Civil War. It's very fast.
Right.
but I mean, like, I'm just saying that, like, look, the the red legs in that movie are designed to be bad people, period. And they're bad people because they're bad people. They're not bad people because they're from the north or from the south. They're just bad people, right? And the thing is that the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. They took away his family, so he goes on this journey, and what happens is the Lord giveth back to him another family and another another group, another society to live within. And I I don't I like the I think the scene where he meets with the Indian chief and they talk about the words of death and the words of life, and that that is a beautiful scene to me. I think that that movie is exceptionally well written. You can you can make whatever judgment you want about things. I mean, like that I think that that young man that rides with him and that dies is a perfect example of someone who just does not understand what the situation is or why things are happening.
Right.
And Josie doesn't care. Josie Josie wants to die in a lot of ways. He just wants to take as many of the people who killed his family with him, you know?
Right,
And
right.
then at the
No,
end he learns to, I mean, and the this the I mean that's just it. I think that all I mean, like, look, I first watched that movie because Orson Welles said, quote, if this movie had been made by anyone but Clint Eastwood, it would be considered one of the greatest American films. And I think that there's the truth to that. I
I
think that it's
absolutely think
about
that. I mean, like from a strictly technical standpoint, from a strictly acting standpoint, it's a brilliant movie. I think you could have told the story with a slightly different backdrop. I mean, I like again, it's the setting that makes me deeply uncomfortable. And maybe it's supposed to. But I've seen so many people use that sort of thing as an example of the lost cause. You know, and the lost cause narrative is one that came about way after the Civil War. It started in the teens when black people were actually starting to get some rights that we rewrote history to change it from like rich Southern planters, you know, not wanting to give up slaves to, oh, it was all about states' rights and lost. We were fighting for the real America. Um, you know, as far as history books go, the
They're
South
still
won that
fighting.
war in a lot of ways. Um, and, and it feels emblematic of that. And that was what I was worried about with this comic. And I felt like Palmiotti and Gray actually threaded a really delicate needle to make it not like that. Um,
well, I mean,
I mean,
I think Josie already Jonah um uh and I think Jonah exists in a world where like he carries the burden of something, right?
right,
And he carries the scars, literally, of something.
right.
And I think that that part of part of because I think it's a very different thing. I think that there's something about him having been in the Confederate cavalry uh, is feeds into the character on some level in a way that I think the story of Josie Wales, at least the way Eastwood told it with the Kaufman script, is not about that. It's in that context, but that the character journey is not about that. I think that in a lot of ways, Josie is continually paying a price for something. Um, and this is part of why I think I always, whenever they make some sort of like supernatural thing where Jonah can talk to the dead or whatever, I'm like, it's that's bullshit to me. It's better that he just sees things and he goes, no, that's wrong. It's like, and then he sets it
But
right.
also, where I was going is like why I had to read it and why I was most afraid of the origin story is like, okay, now we get to figure out some, and like seeing the way that he was raised by Apache, seeing that he was going after the Union, now just US again, army who had slaughtered his people. It's like, oh, now I get it. it's not even that he's a Southerner. It's that he like one of the great historical difficulties in terms of making great heroes and villains and whatnot when it comes to Union leaders is so many of them that did good things in the Civil War then did horrific things in the West. Um, so I liked the fact that this comic used that part of his character to play with the complexities in a way that you don't always see in Westerns. Um, I mean, I feel like, I liked Westerns a lot when I was younger, and as I've grown old and I've gotten to know my Western history better, um, I'm often bothered by the lack of Black and Hispanic people in the Westerns. I'm often bothered by the portrayal of the Native Americans as either weak or absolute savages. Um, and this does a great job of portraying a more in-depth version of the West.
Well, I mean,
And a moral person, whatever morals we give to Jonah Hex, that like um they're more absolute. They're not, oh, you were a union guy, so I think this, or you're black, so I think that. It's
oh,
like,
well, I mean, I think that that's clear. I mean, like, I don't think he uh, gives a whit one way or another.
no, he
Like,
doesn't. He doesn't at all. But there, I mean, there's a tendency in stuff like this to do color blindness rather than actually like deal with it. Like when he's at the swamp house, that's not color blindness. It's like, yeah, no, that baby was still a baby. I don't care what you think of its father.
mhm.
I mean,
What issue are we talking about? Could we let's
that was
Yeah, I
the
can't remember.
the one in the
It's
swamp with the alligators where they kept the mom. They killed the baby off screen. He met the dad in town who gave him
hmm
the
okay, I don't think I made it to that one.
okay. It's one of my favorites, both from a storytelling and a artistic. It would have been issue 10.
Okay, yeah,
Phil Noto on the art too.
hmm
Um, but again, I mean, and sometimes I can read stories and not think of the context and what they're saying without saying it about the time. And like I'm certain that if I watch The Outlaw Josie Wales again 20 years from now, where hopefully the world is sane again, or if I'd watched it 15 years ago when it wasn't so crazy, it wouldn't have bothered me in the way that it bothered me. Um,
I get that. Look, man, like I'm just saying that to me, uh, that that film has a pedigree that's really problematic. But I
yeah,
also think that there was a specific choice made, and I think that when you go down a path of saying that I think that you either don't want to tell stories about that time period, and actually in the time period we're at right now, it's probably a good time to tell stories about that time
oh,
period, right?
absolutely.
And the thing is that I also think that there are uh, really horrible things that were done to people, both sides. I mean, it's a war, right? And
Yeah. Um,
I think that you, if you really want to talk about that movie, you have to talk about a man who literally was living in the woods farming, trying to stay out of the situation, and had it
right,
come to his own house, had
right,
it burned down, had his wife raped, had his son killed, and
right.
then
but
literally. I mean, like, and the thing is like it's what Eastwood is good at, is the man who has the violence within him, who doesn't want to let it out and then lets it
right.
out, right?
I mean, I guess the Civil War has some similar both sides, the way we talk about both sides commit political violence right now. Historians say one side did an awful lot more of it. Um, you know, uh, and that makes it. And again, like that's why I do like this because the Northerners, when fighting the Indians, were all about atrocities.
I mean, I just think,
They
I
did
think,
not have it in them. They just were less likely. I mean, even most of the well documented atrocities done against, um, flat out done against Southern units were done by black soldiers who escaped captivity, and it was arguably a well, the Southern position was we don't take black captives, we take them and then we kill them. So like, um, but then you have Sherman's March, and a lot of horrible things happened in Sherman's March. I mean, like, I get the complexity, but like when I watch Josie Wales, I don't feel the complexity, I guess is what I'm saying. I feel like North bad, South good in terms of like, and then it's a human story, and the human story is outstanding. The human story is outstanding, but like it could have been just as good of a human story if rather than making it the Union Army, you made it just a band of bandits, you know. But I don't want to go too much further in this because I have lots of other good things to say about Jonah Hex.
Right.
Among other things, and I noticed this a lot with Matt Fraction's first Batman issue. Um, but then I enjoyed it again. Like there is so much to be said for beginning, middle, and end while still part of a bigger picture comic book stories.
well, yeah, yeah. I mean, like, look, like, I think that the huge strength of this series as a whole is that there were blessedly few continued stories.
Right.
Stuff might come back, but I mean, it comes down to that. It comes down to that EC Comics thing of it's almost feels like a um, um, uh, oh, what's the word? Um it almost feels like a Twilight
Anthology,
Zone.
Twilight
Yeah,
Zone.
yeah. Like
The
where,
morality play.
yeah, it's like we drop you into this situation, and then yeah, okay, we're always going to drop Jonah into it, but it's it and sometimes you're wondering what Jonah is going to do, like
Right.
is he going to go for the money? But then he never goes for the money. But one of the incredible things about the writing is that I think every time I find myself wondering, is he going to go for the money? Yeah, you know, and then oh no, like
Well,
that.
because he also does just enough to like make out his greedy side,
Sure.
uh
Right.
uh even and Sean didn't get to it, but even in the Swamp People, he was given the deed by the man, but then
Hmm.
he convinced the town sheriff to put out a bounty on them.
Hmm.
But it reminds me of, my favorite Western is Have Gun Will Travel with Paladin. And, that show is fantastic, except in its portrayal of Asian Americans. Uh, but given that, he's dropped in, he always has a mercenary motive, but at some point, something trumps the mercenary motive. And he's always going to stand for the oppressed. Um, he's going to be against bigotry. Uh, and I enjoy that about these books as well.
I mean, I know Sean didn't get to this one, but what was it, the last story of the second collection with the Mormons?
Yeah. It was also
I
fantastic.
where and it's like, okay, I'm gonna stand with you, and then they prove to be not on the up and up totally. I love the way he and it always just like fuck it. It's coming, and I don't know. I could go one by one. Like I love all of this stuff. I love the thing like and it's so super Pulp Fiction-y, but like training the little boys to fight dogs. That's
Yep.
like
Well, and that's one of the stories that comes back.
yeah.
And that something I found. Um, I don't know if you guys have read the original series, but that's enough.
There's a Fiona Staples issue.
Um,
Mhm.
so issue one of the Palmiotti Gray is basically a remake of Jonah Hex one by
Mhm.
Michael Flesher and great art
Mhm.
by JLGL. Uh,
Mhm.
there, the boys are fighting other boys.
Mhm.
But so I read that one last night and I was like, oh, wait, yeah, this is great. Um,
Yeah.
I have to say that the Palmiotti and Gray is more for, today's standards. I don't know well, it wouldn't have been able to have been published in 1977,
Sure.
let's say. But
Yeah, the code as it was back then wouldn't have allowed this, but
right. But I enjoyed talking about the episodic nature and the man with no name like quality. And so haven't gotten to the origin story. So I don't know his origin story, and I kind of like that.
mhm.
I mean,
He's just an avatar
right.
for me. He's an avatar of basically justice. He's the avenging angel, uh,
Mhm.
here to make things right. And I like that. It's why I like the first several issues of Ditko's Doctor Strange. It's the
Mhm.
only time in like the Bronze or the Silver Age that I can think of that you just had a character start fully formed, and I think 6 issues in, they decided to give him an origin.
Sure.
Well, and I will say that I totally agree with that. Like I probably wouldn't have kept reading except I saw Origins and I went, oh, this feels like it's going to be a train wreck. And I was very happy that it wasn't because up until then, like you'd been building the character in your head and like you knew that like every assumption you had could and would be turned on its head or twisted or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, and for that matter, I even think with the origin story, they told little enough of the origin story. It was told more as a revenge for the origin story or revenge for things in his past with like
Mhm.
snippets that like it further enhanced his character without setting things in stone. And I do think that that's one of the absolute beauties of the way they handle this character is like they know who he is, but you don't.
Right. Well, I mean, I think, and that's like,
Yeah, his reputation precedes him everywhere.
yes,
They hear the name Hex,
everyone's
they're
like,
like, whoa, whoa.
whoa, whoa, wait, Jonah Hex? Wait a minute.
Right.
But I mean, I will
Famous
say
Hex and hell followed with him.
the what is it, the acrid stench of gun smoke. I will say it's this series was so exciting for the art because, like you said, it's like a murderer's row of great artists came and
Oh
worked on
yeah.
this book. But I mean, I will say that Luke Ross, like, um, uh, what's this one here with the I love how they have the chapter titles too during the course
Yeah.
of it, the Plague of Salvation or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's the one where there's the the nun that he has a past with, and and there's this like, and she gets caught in the fire and dies in his arms by and then they cut to him walking into town, and A Colt in the Fist of the Devil. It's 137 in the collection page, and it's just like you just see him walking into town with the gun, and it's just like the smoke behind him, and I'm just like, this is fucking incredible. Like, it's so iconically. I mean, look, I famously have this problem with the Punisher as a character because I think that it tries to excuse, it tries to put this kind of morality in a modern setting, and it doesn't work for me in a modern setting. And maybe that's my own lack of imagination. But when you put it in the Old West, where it's like, in many ways, it was, whoever was the strongest got to make the rules. It's always kind of like seeing somebody like Jonah rise up and be like, oh no, we're not doing this. And it's
Yeah.
just like, and knowing that it's going to be that the punishment is going to be just as cruel. If that's um I don't know.
Well, I
Plus,
think Punisher works as a villain, but
absolutely.
when you make him a hero, I think the best use of him is the Garth Ennis uh,
Yeah.
early 2000s run, which to me
Yeah.
reminds me of Judge Dredd. It's
Uh-huh.
a satire.
Sure.
Right.
I
100%.
read
Yeah,
that as
yeah.
a satire, and
Well, I mean,
that's
yeah.
a
And I'm a huge Judge Dredd fan. So, I mean, like, I totally understand that. And I think that Ennis is really good at that. I think Ennis can sometimes turn the corner where, yeah, okay, it's satire. I don't know that this is satire. I think
well, you
but
go back again. We keep getting on tangents, but to me,
Kansas is what we do.
when you go back to Vietnam and Frank's already a killer, that you've lost me.
yeah, yeah, I think
As
that,
good as those stories actually well crafted, but to me it destroys something important about the character.
yeah, like it's the same thing. I mean, not
Maybe
to revisit the Josie Wales thing, but it has to be a man who has skills trying to live his life outside of this world of violence, and then the world of violence comes into his life, and then
there's an inciting event.
right. And if I mean, I guess I can sort of see, but like, if he's going, yeah, I tend to agree. Um, I also think the Punisher is much more interesting as uh, a villain. But anyway, also, if the Punisher had a huge, massive scar on his face, I might find him more interesting. Um, because I mean, and
Note to the
that's
next Punisher. I mean, ironically, Palmiotti's doing Punisher right now.
um, maybe I should read it then. I don't know. Maybe fix it for me. But like part of what's super cool, and and it's Dzunga, or Dzuniga, or however you say his name, the who draws a couple of these issues,
Mhm.
um, uh, as the co-creator. Uh, that I think that image, the image of his face is speaks volumes about what Sean's laughing. Um,
I don't want to spoil the movie we saw yesterday, but um, when you mentioned his face, it reminds me of
don't think that I didn't think about that when we were about to get on today. Um,
What movie
but
did you see yesterday?
one battle after another.
Okay.
Uh, oh, actually, man, if you wanted to make a Jonah Hex movie now, you
I,
could do worse than Sean Penn.
right.
Um, uh, but uh, um, but no, that image, like it speaks to it's very similar to the Two-Face thing, except not as it's much more pulp fiction than comic booky, right? It's that idea that there are these forces inside of this man, the cruelty and the empathy and the violence and the ability to be tender that are in that are trying to be balanced. And I think that that is I like the visual metaphor of it is so cool. Anyway, sorry, I'm just in love with this book. I rereading them. I
There
was
are a lot of reasons to be in love with this book.
I
I'm gonna bring up
I
another one.
I'm going to continue reading.
yeah.
Did you notice um the there's one like layout trait that seems to go across most of the different artists. So I have to assume that it was something that Palmiotti came up with as he's an artist himself, and it became part of the
Hmm.
um the visual blueprint for the book. Um, did you notice the number of like, for lack of a better term, I'm gonna call them 70 millimeter panels. You know,
Yeah, the
Yeah.
widescreen.
the well, not just the widescreen, but the widescreen on one page and much thinner than they would be normally in a comic,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean,
I
Oh, the
loved
salt
that.
panels, which are difficult to read digitally.
Hmm.
mhm.
Yeah.
I actually was like many times when I'm reading stuff digitally, I get really frustrated because my my inclination is to want to put the full page up and read it. And sometimes with my aging and failing eyesight, I can't read it, right?
Right.
Um, so I was actually super fucking excited that all through these first two collections, and I am definitely going to reread the whole series now. I mean,
Right.
it's so it brought back everything for me. I was just like, this is why I like could not wait for the new issues to come out. But um, and it's the the dialogue is nothing but what is necessary and they allow the art to carry it. And I think that those widescreen panels, I mean, and that's, that's
Yeah.
really, I mean, that's part of it. I am looking here. What issue is this? I do hate this, the
It almost
digital.
also makes me wonder if Quentin Tarantino is a comic book guy because like Hateful
We
Eight,
know it.
He's a
well, yeah,
Gunhawk fan.
you're right.
He is a
But
It
but
Gunhawks
always
but
goes
fan.
back to Gunhawks.
but
Everything comes back to Gunhawks.
no, I remember people being some people being upset about the fact that he wasted 70 millimeter on doing Hateful Eight all inside of one room. And like A, I thought that was brilliant, and B, that's sometimes how these wide panels are used
Yeah. It's
here.
not.
Folks, if you enjoyed The Hateful Eight, watch Sergio Corbucci's The Great Silence.
The Great Silence.
Yes.
Wait. You're saying that Tarantino sort of aped somebody else's movie and
It's yeah. No. Look, I really enjoy Hateful Eight. Went New Year's Eve to see it in 70 millimeter, the road show with intermission, and even
Me too.
still have my program at the Music Box. But if you watch The Great Silence, it's like wow, he lifts a number of motifs from that film.
well,
But you can't lift Klaus Kinski in one of the darkest. It's one of the darkest films I've ever seen.
mhm.
I just saw Kinski in oh, it was a Werner Herzog, the one down in the jungle.
Which one?
Fitzcarraldo?
Fitzcarraldo, a Gary, Wrath of God.
A Gary.
Oh,
Yeah, I really like that.
I've never seen that.
I really like that.
Kinski is a Kinski is a madman.
True.
uh yeah, it's always funny, you always go like Werner Herzog is like nuts. And then you see Klaus Kinski and you're like, "Oh, no he isn't."
Yeah, apparently Kinski fired 3 rounds into the extra tent during that movie, and Herzog had to confiscate his Winchester.
Wow.
Well,
Actually, this is where I'm gonna do a quick plug for what's the name of the channel? Gary is part of a channel that it's on Shout TV, which
Oh,
I got the subscription to because the movie that Alan Moore made is also on Shout TV. Um, but for Agare, they have both the subtitled version and they have a commentary version. So listening to Herzog talk about it 30 years later was like really, really cool.
I always Burden of Dreams, which is that documentary that they made about making Fitzcarraldo, which is the most insane story. That film is amazing, and the making of it is clearly nuts. But like Herzog saying that the native uh, workers and extras
Also on Shout TV. It's
come
Coraldo.
to him and they say, "We will kill him for you." And, and I'm like, and Herzog is like, yeah.
That's pretty great. What was the name of the
I mean,
documentary?
and everybody thinks Jared Leto is an asshole.
What was the name of the documentary?
Burden of Dreams. It's really good. I mean, and it's you know, it's a lot of Herzog doing the Herzog thing. The here we are in the jungle. It is full of some people think the jungle is full of life, but we all know it is death. There is nothing but death here. It's fucking amazing.
the greatest real estate agents
Yeah, I know.
ever in Pawnee, Indiana history.
Oh, I love Werner so much. When he fucking ate his shoe. That's
He
the
ate his
best.
shoe.
Yeah.
Gates of heaven.
Anyway,
If you make this movie, I will eat my shoe.
I must eat my shoe. See, now all I want is Werner Herzog's Jonah Hex. Somebody get James Gunn on the phone.
We got
Anyway,
Sean Penn, we got Werner Herzog, we got a show.
we got fucking yeah. I would like, and like actually you go through these Luke Ross pages, you've got almost the whole thing cast. There's God, there's I'm looking through this one thing and there's like I can't remember the actor's name, but he was I think he played Eastwood's sidekick in the Any Which Way You Can movies.
Oh, Roberts?
Yeah, I think so. He's like the the doctor or the judge. Like it's clearly him. Like there's this one drawing and you're like, that's him.
Yeah.
But I mean, but to your point, and I don't want to I don't want to discount the other genius artists' work on the series because they're all great. But Luke Ross like really started this thing out with a bang. And it is exactly what Sean says. Like clearly he is incredible with likenesses and he's casting it beautifully.
It's not Robert. It's Juliette Lewis's father, right?
I think so. I don't remember, but I mean it's clearly him. Um, but I mean it doesn't, and I know exactly what Sean is talking about in those
Jeffrey Lewis.
yeah,
Sorry, it's
Jeff.
driving me crazy.
Um, because and it is what he's talking about in the modern Marvel Star Wars series. Like the likenesses became overwhelmingly static and overwhelmingly like it's the same problem that I have with a lot of Alex Ross sequential work is that okay, it doesn't feel like there's no dynamic element to it. And I feel like uh Luke Ross is able to get that very, very realistic likeness, but then make everything feel propulsive. I haven't seen I haven't seen him working on anything in a long time that I know of, and he's really good. And it's like the likenesses are great, but then it's just a little bit cartoony. Like I'm looking at the same picture, it's almost in the same image with the Jeffrey Lewis guy. There's this woman that almost has a um, oh, who am I thinking about? Kevin McGuire kind of feel to it. Like it's just that I like because I always thought Kevin McGuire was a great facial features, a little bit cartoony, but also not so cartoony that it lost reality. But um, anyway, I'm blathering now. Somebody else talk.
The,
Yeah, I like I say, I really enjoy it and will probably continue. This was not something that I had read. My brother had actually recommended it to me back when it was coming out. Uh,
Hmm.
but you know, you only have so much time. But I mean, to me, looking back on it, it's like seems like probably one of the best things from the new 52. um, that I
Well,
could.
this series, the original series, predated the
Oh,
New
predated
52.
that, right?
Because the New 52, they canceled Jonah Hex, but then made All-Star Western,
Oh,
which um, I will say that when it switched to the All-Star Western, I kind of lost same team, but they were suddenly like beholden to some sort of continuity. Like they took they took they took Jonah out of the Old West and moved him to Gotham. So he was
oh,
operating in Gotham City like in the 1800s. But I was like, I don't want to read this. I want Jonah out on the frontier, you know, doing the Jonah thing. I don't need to like, I don't need to know how Jonah Hex ties into the Court of Owls, you know?
but for anyone who is interested in reading those, there is an all-star Western omnibus coming out at the end of October. So
Yeah.
can you
I
get
I
can you monetize that at all? I'm trying to help you here.
I don't know. I don't know.
you gotta you gotta do that, Ted. Come on, man. You gotta
Monetizing
do
is something I'm not great at, though I will point out that patreon.com/22 panels podcast, I think. Let me make certain I even had the link right. Uh
I mean,
one
and
day.
I need to get better about monitoring when I I would say this is maybe off
We
recording
do
talk.
finally have something resembling an Instagram game. Thanks, Kelly.
I
Kelly,
mean, I
Kelly has
also
taken over the yes, it is patreon.com/22 panels podcast, all one word. If you'd like
but I
to kick us some money and join my mom and brother among our contributors.
um it would be I'm going to ask you, it would be really nice if when these episodes go up, you could let us know.
I'll do my best. I'll do my best. I am now the one putting up the episodes, so I will actually know.
Right.
Because Tyler has gone on hiatus as he opens his comic shop. And I will say Kelly has been very on top of when the episodes go up. She puts something up on um Instagram now. So if I forget to let you know, there'll probably be an Instagram post that you'll be tagged in.
Well, because I'll put it on my website and I'll
I
put
know you
it
will. I know you will.
and
So I must get much better at that, and I must
Because
start
you
bringing you
can't
in for
spell
more
prod.
interviews.
you can't spell prop without PR. My my 3 to 5 visitors to my website every week.
Hey, I've actually been gaining Instagram people because Kelly does such a good job. We are up to what are we up to? It's some ridiculous number, at least from my perspective. 347 followers.
Look at that.
I mean, I guess at one point we are over 1,000 on Twitter, but I don't like Twitter anymore.
I haven't been on Twitter in, I'm guessing, 12 years.
I will occasionally pop in if somebody tags us on something like they were in our episode and and they put it up on Twitter. I'll go in and like it, and that's it.
I mean,
I guess we
look,
do have 664 Blue Sky followers, so I should do better there too.
I think that type of social media just kind of makes me insane.
Yeah,
I can't, like, even Blue Sky. I'm just like I can't deal with all this shit.
yeah.
And like Threads is bad too. Instagram never bothers me. I put up a picture. Actually Facebook doesn't bother me, but that's mainly because my friends list is pretty well curated at this point.
Right,
And I have my public list, a public page for like my writing and acting stuff, but not
right.
but anyway, uh I not to get way off topic because like I just think uh and maybe we're getting close to wrapping up here, I don't know. But
Probably.
uh I legitimately think that this Jonah Hex series is one of the 2 or 3 best ongoing series of the 21st century in my book.
Uh,
Um,
I actually don't disagree with you at
I
all.
I
It,
think
it
that
was two or
it was
three,
a
maybe not quite, but way up there. And I read way more comics than you do. So
Wow. Like I say, I got like 7 or 8 in and really enjoy it. So
yeah,
fun.
I mean
High praise
I
from the two of you.
yeah, I mean like I think I kind of it's been a while since it ended, since they switched it to the All-Star Western, which I was disappointed with. There were still highlights there, but I I it felt like, as with a lot of the New 52 stuff, it felt like it was about tying everything more closely into a continuity, and I didn't need or want that with Jonah Hex. Although, oh my God, we didn't even talk about this. Um, and this, I don't think Sean absolutely didn't get to these. The fact that they brought in some of the DC Western characters that felt
Yeah,
like they should
Batlash and El
not.
Well,
Diablo.
Batlash was in.
Yeah.
Batlash, like Batlash. I when that start, I remember when that happened when I was first reading these books, and I was like, how the hell are you going to make Batlash work in this world that you've created for Jonah? And yet they did. And they did the same thing with El Diablo, like these characters that are much more fanciful than Jonah. And somehow Palmiotti and Gray and the artists involved with each one of those, they made those characters work in that realm. And it this 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 is the DC Western continuity that I want to see continued. That's
Yeah.
me. I like this is I you know, if they I think as the series goes on, if I remember correctly, they bring in a lot more. They bring in like Scalp Hunter and Cinnamon and oh God, I'm trying to think. But I mean, they make an effort to bring in a lot of those classic DC Western characters, and I thought in every case it worked really well, and um, I actually I could have done with a Batlash Jonah Hex miniseries actually after those couple of that issue that he was in. I just love them together. Anyway,
I just
I
want
don't
to
know.
say El Diablo, Lois Lane's what great grandfather.
I did not
Sounds
know
right.
that. And now
Lazarus
you've
Lane.
now I have to know. You've told me that there's direct continuity, and now I have to burn all the issues. No,
Sorry.
Mark Pracht
So
hates canon.
so
With William
now
Conrad?
let us discuss what comes next. At this point, I have three ideas in my head. The one is we've enjoyed this enough that if we wanted to continue Jonah Hex, I would not actually be opposed. Um, the the second is Bendis and Suntress just did the first volume of 100 Bullets that we have been talking about doing, I think, since we started this club.
Yeah,
Um,
I missed that. I meant to jump on for it and then I forgot.
uh, it was
But
fun. But then third is the fifth volume of Palomino just came out.
uh,
And I really, really, really love Stephen Frank's Palomino and want to do that at some point for this show.
I am amenable to all of those. I will say this made me so excited about this book again. I am way into doing at least one more episode, like another two collections or three collections or whatever. Like that's my gut saying that. I'm
No, I
totally
like
amenable
that
to
idea.
anything else too.
Sean, are you okay with that?
Um,
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Then let's shoot for through volume 4 of Jonah Hex for next month, and if we get further, even better.
Great. And you know, you know me, I keep wanting, well, when we get our Alex Toth
Yeah,
Zorro,
no, when we have Alex Toth
that's a done
Zorro,
deal.
it will slot in.
because
Um,
yeah.
And for that matter, at some point, I also want to do Torpedo, which Alex Toth did the first
Yep.
volume. And I think Jordy Burnett did the second volume, who did some of these too.
Yeah.
Um,
Man, yeah, like oh God, this series is just
and
a
actually,
murderous
the
row
most recent
of artists.
Torpedo was done by Eduardo Russo. um, so yeah, that's a series that. Have you guys read any Torpedo?
I have
Um,
not.
No, but
it's
I'm thinking of a
it's
specific
a
Spinal Tap song right now.
No, it's a Spanish comic series by Enrico Sanchez Abuli, mostly drawn by Jordi Burnett, but like the first issues, I think the first 6 or 10 issues were Alex Toth. So yeah, it's some dark mob stuff with a decidedly Spanish spin.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're torpedoes. I think isn't that wasn't that slang for hitmen?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Fire photon torpedo.
Torpedoes. You forgot
Oh, it
the
actually started
P.
in Creepy.
Sean and I are
Hey,
just
I, I
out
see
of
that. I see that. You guys are in sync and going off on all sorts of pop culture references that I don't actually know as well as you do, but I'm
Star Trek:
enjoying
The Motion
Torpedo.
Picture, underrated movie,
It is.
in my opinion.
It is. But I will say for Sean Harklerode and Mark Pracht, this has been the Pulp Blotter on 22 panels, and we will see you after the next page.